useful features for Catholic Charities programs, including nutrition education, CalFresh outreach, emergency food distribution, youth engagement, and wellness policies. We'll also talk about best practices and effective strategies for integrating EatFresh.org tools, and then next steps, including relevant print materials to support your programming. My name is Jessica Sildorf, and I'm joined today by Erin Freeney on this webinar. We both work for Leah's Pantry and are program coordinators for EatFresh.org. Feel free to contact either one of us for more information and resources after the webinar. So we recently produced a series of promotional videos for EatFresh.org and would like to begin our presentation by showing one of them. And this one is called Fiesta. So let me just share my screen really quick. One moment. Okay, so here we are. We've got our video, and I will just press play. Uh-oh, let's try reloading this. They're still password protected because we're still working on them. So it looks like that had expired. Let's try again. All right, so that was, oh, hang on, I'm sharing. So that was a little preview of our video. I think it looked a little slow on the screen share. It does look a lot smoother as a video. So as soon as those are released, you'll all get to watch them. And we have two other videos. And there's 3 vignettes that just show EatFresh tools being used in everyday life. So as you saw in the video, it can be easily integrated into daily life. It's a resource that people can rely on for preventive health information that is consistent with public health messages throughout California, and is a place to find healthy, affordable recipes that taste good. So there are 3 connected tools available through EatFresh, and we will introduce each before going into more detail. So the first is the website itself. It's available in English, Spanish, and Chinese, and features hundreds of recipes that have been shared by our many partners, such as the San Francisco Marin Food Bank and 211 San Diego. Recipes have been the most popular content on eatfresh.org, but we also have a wide variety of informational pages on healthy living and chronic disease prevention, food discovery, ask a dietitian online, and local county resources. For those of you who need more of an intro to the site, I recommend that you watch our demo video on our online toolkit, which I am linking to in the chat box right now. And we'll be talking about the toolkit a little bit later today. So the second tool is our text message-based nutrition class. So this is called EatFresh.org SMS Nutrition Class. And we piloted this intervention this summer with English and Spanish-speaking parents. Users signed up for 8 weeks of bi-weekly health tips and guidance around lowering sugary beverage consumption. It included goal setting, links to recipes, and other helpful resources. You can try it yourself right now by texting the word orange for English or naranja for Spanish to 99000. And you'll see on the screen here, this is how the text would look. So you're sending the word to this number. So that's as if it were a phone number for those who aren't familiar with short codes. Right now, it's not available in Chinese, but we hope in the future to develop other text message interventions that we can share with partners around the state. And then our third tool is the EatFresh.org MiniCourse. So this is launching this fall, and users can access the classes by clicking a button from either the EatFresh.org homepage or by typing lms.eatfresh.org into a browser window. So I'm going to share my screen again and show you a preview of the site. Actually, it has launched, so you could view it now yourself if you'd like. But we'll just try that again. All right, so this is what the website looks like when you type in lms.eatfresh.org. So I'm just going to log in. And I'm brought to this dashboard screen. So if I hadn't been here yet, I would just click this orange Begin MiniCourse button. But I have begun. I answered the pre-course questionnaire, and here I can go back into my course classes. So there's 5 classes in each course, and I must complete all of them in order to take the post-test questionnaire and get my certificate of completion. So if we go into this class, Finding Low Sodium Foods Using Nutrition Labels, here we have our class. So I'll type in my name, and we can
click on each highlighted button to control how you hear and view the information.
So basically it's a self-paced class. You can go as fast or slow as you'd like, but generally these take between 5 and 10 minutes to complete. You'll see up here there are 9 slides total, so very short snippets of information.
In Find Low Sodium Foods Using Nutrition Labels, you will learn some basic health benefits of.
So I won't go through this entirely, but I'm going to scrub through. But it gives you an overview of the class, and then it starts to talk about this topic is sodium. I've muted it right now so I can talk over it. But it guides users through different topics in a way that is similar to taking a workshop. We cover a lot of material in these courses here that we do in our in-person classes. So I'll pause that. Anyone who wants to explore can create an account on their own and go through them and preview everything. But let me just get back to our presentation. So all of these tools are great ways for individuals to access nutrition and health resources whenever and wherever it works best for them. We hope that they'll also fit and within Catholic Charities of California programming and can enhance your work throughout the state. So now I'm going to pass it over to Erin, who will walk us through the features on eatfresh.org.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for participating today. First, a little history of this project. EatFresh.org was created for the CalFresh population by San Francisco Human Services Agency and Leah's Pantry. After about a year of development, EatFresh.org launched September 30th, 2013, so we just celebrated our second birthday. It has USDA approved content and has been categorized as a policy, systems, and environment intervention, which means it will add another layer of depth to the direct and indirect education that you do. We have a map that shows where our users have logged on to EatFresh around the state in the past 2 years. And we know that healthy conversations are happening all over California. And our goal is to make EatFresh.org the best resource possible for our diverse state and the needs of our partners. So as you use EatFresh.org and have feedback about the website, please let us know. We are really interested in hearing from partners. So now we're going to do a walkthrough of the website. Here is the homepage of eatfresh.org. The language switcher is in the upper right-hand corner on desktop and will translate whichever page it is that you're on. So again, the languages available are English, Spanish, and Chinese. From the homepage, you will soon be able to access the online curriculum. You can also encourage clients to sign up for weekly email or text message health tips down below on that free weekly SMS and email health tips. These weekly tips are a great way for folks to receive regular reminders to make healthy choices. Many staff I work with also sign up for either the text message or email weekly tips and have given me some great feedback about them. Recipes are by far the most popular content on eatfresh.org. There are several ways to find recipes. One is by clicking on recipes from the main navigation and browsing the over 400 recipes on the site. Another is to use the filters on the left-hand panel. So, for example, if you are getting ready for a workshop or demonstration, you could use these filters, for example, just to look at salads under meal types or vegetarian dishes. If you select multiple filters, you can click Clear Filters to return to the original screen. Lastly, you can search for an ingredient or keyword to narrow down your search results. For example, if clients you work with are receiving emergency food assistance and have gotten carrots multiple weeks in a row and are feeling tired of eating raw carrots, they could type in carrot and will find over 70 recipes on eatfresh.org with carrots in them. So looking at a recipe page, each recipe has a sharing toolbar at the top. One thing you can do with recipes that I think is really cool is you can text the ingredients of a recipe to your phone. So if you're in a library using a computer and looking at recipes and don't own a smartphone, or if you don't want to use data once you're in the grocery store, you can text the ingredients to yourself. Along that same sharing toolbar, you can also email recipes, save them, and when you do that, you'll see them later in the My Recipes folder. You can share them on social media, and you can also print them out. And this could be a useful feature for your programs as well if you want to print a couple pages of a recipe to use in a workshop. As you scroll down the recipe page, you will see the option to change the yield size of recipes. If you are preparing this Moroccan carrot salad for a large group, you could adjust the yield amount easily. There's an example of how to do that. And then at the bottom of the recipes, we include the author and nutrition information. So if you were interested in making just recipes that were from the California Department of Public Health or ones that were particularly high in protein or low in fat, you could do that. The Discover Foods pages on eatfresh.org are a great place for people to learn about different types of foods. Use these pages with participants in nutrition education activities or tied in with emergency food distribution to provide information about what a food is, how to store it, and choose it so that it's ripe. These pages can also align well with Harvest of the Month activities. So if you are already thinking about seasonal items, you could have these pages printed and ready to go or pulled up on a tablet or a smartphone to be able to show participants. Another useful feature that is an easy referral is Ask a Dietitian. If someone asks you a question about their health while you are doing CalFresh outreach or running nutrition education activities that you don't feel prepared to answer, direct your clients to Ask a Dietitian, where they can submit any nutrition-related question, and a SNAP-Ed trained dietitian will respond to them within a week. Lifestyle pages are where most of the nutrition information on eatfresh.org lives. Each page begins with a barrier statement we hear when we run workshops, like, I don't feel full when I try to eat healthy. When you click into the page, you will see tips for overcoming that barrier. Like the recipe pages, you can also filter lifestyle pages. For example, if you are getting ready for an activity with youth about grocery shopping, you could click on the shopping and budgeting filter to find tips specifically on that topic. So those are the filters along the right, and there's the shopping and budgeting. In the My Local Resources pages, we've mostly listed farmers markets in your county that accept EBT and WIC, as well as other county offices and food banks. Please check your county pages. I know there's folks from around the state on this webinar, and let me know if there's anything to add or edit. It's very easy for me to do. Finally, we often get the question of whether eatfresh.org is an app. It's not, but the website was built to be mobile friendly. This means that you can load it on your smartphone or tablet browser simply by typing eatfresh.org in the URL bar. The website recognizes that you're on a mobile device and will adjust accordingly. In order to access eatfresh.org as quickly and easily as you would an app, you can add it as a shortcut to the home screen on your smartphone. We have step-by-step guides that show you how to do this on both iPhone and Android phones that can be downloaded from our online toolkit and print to share. This is an easy tip that you can walk through with your clients at the beginning of a class or before an eatfresh.org demo. And we will make sure to send the link to this file for everyone after the webinar. So Jessica's now going to tell us just a little bit more about our online curriculum.
Yeah, and actually the file for adding that shortcut to your smartphone is in the shared files window in the webinar right now. So you can download that now, but we'll also send it out as an email later to make sure everyone has that, as well as the slides. You can download the slides now or wait for our email. All right, so as we spoke about earlier, we have just launched the EatFresh.org mini course. So again, there are 3 SNAP-Ed courses that will feature 5 self-paced classes that are under 10 minutes in length. Topics include reading a nutrition label, navigating the grocery store, meal planning, and avoiding high sodium foods. So let me just go back to that site so you can look at it as I talk. Okay, so here we're back on the module. Let's go back into the mini course itself. So as I mentioned, the classes or the courses are organized into 3 groups of 5 classes. And down here, I would be able to take the post-course questionnaire and download my certificate of completion. So as you saw earlier, you will have to create an account in order to access the mini course. This requires users to create a username and password, and once they sign up, they'll have to verify their account through email. So we recognize that this may be a barrier for some, but unfortunately, this is just how an online course is set up. So we have some instructions over here. The password requirements are a little clunky, but hopefully after a couple tries or with some help, those who are new to computers will be able to use it. All right, so I've already showed you a little preview of the course. But again, feel free to create your own account and preview it on your own. We imagine that the EatFresh online curriculum will be useful in many contexts. For example, you could ask participants in a multi-week workshop to take one of the 3 courses. Whoever brings back a certificate of completion could be entered into a raffle for some type of incentive. These could also be useful as part of a wellness policy to get people thinking about health prior to meetings or trainings about site or staff wellness. All right, and then I'm going to pass it back to Erin on specifics about EatFresh integration.
So we have found that eatfresh.org integration is strongest when agency staff like yourselves understand a site and use it in their programming. We hope this webinar has sparked your imagination for how you could use it at Catholic Charities. If you live in the Bay Area or San Diego County, Jessica or I can also do follow-up in-person trainings as needed. And for those of you in other parts of the state, we can certainly discuss online training and support options. So here are some ideas about how to use eatfresh.org in Catholic Charities programming. Elisa shared with me a list of all the various county activities for the upcoming year. So I tried to tailor things to the different types of activities that I know your counties are engaged in. So for nutrition education, a few things come to mind. One, we have recipe cards, which are beautiful 4x6 colorful cards that have a recipe on one side and then information about eatfresh.org on the other side. And those are a great giveaway to clients and can encourage them to go to the website. I also find that talking about eatfresh.org as a next step at the end of a nutrition activity gives clients something else that they can do so that as they feel inspired to make changes in their health and diet after your programming, that they have a place where they can go consistently to be able to find more resources. We also have 11x17 posters that you can hang up at the sites where you work. And then lastly, as Jessica mentioned, using eatfresh.org as and ideas for incentives for people for classes. So if someone takes the mini course and brings back a certificate of completion, then they get a free cookbook or get some other kind of benefit for basically taking their own time to be continuing to seek nutrition resources. At banks and pantries, farmers markets, healthy retail, or emergency food distribution, looking up information on Discover Foods pages about how to store and cook food could be really useful. And also including recipe cards in the distribution that align with the food that you're giving out is another great way to be able to share eatfresh.org in those settings. At community centers, libraries, or other sites where you might work, maybe in schools that have computer labs, advertising EatFresh with posters or on public computers. So perhaps in a school, when a student opens an internet browser, the home page or landing page that they go to is eatfresh.org, or there are signs along the computers that are encouraging people to visit the site is another great way to get people online and on the site. And then in CalFresh outreach, distributing recipe cards during CalFresh application appointments is something that's happening already in San Francisco and San Diego counties. It would be great to do in other parts of the state. We also have the videos. So you saw one of our 3 EatFresh promotional videos, and hope that those can be used at CalFresh offices, but also health centers or other places with monitors where those videos, which don't require sound, could be played as part of the footage in those offices. And so if you have the opportunity in your county to connect those videos with CalFresh offices, it's a great way to get the word out about EatFresh. And lastly, we've done some exciting programming with youth this summer related to eatfresh.org. And I know some of you are doing work with youth in your counties. So we've done 2 things this summer. I think the sky's the limit in terms of types of activities that could be done. So one we did is in partnership with the San Francisco Department of Children, Youth, and Their Families, developed the EatFresh.org Meal Plan Challenge, which was designed for middle school and early high school students. And they were practicing the skill of planning a balanced, healthy meal using EatFresh.org. And in groups of 2 or 3 would select 3 recipes from the website to make a meal, and came up with a title and pitched it to the rest of the group. The group voted on their favorite meal plan, and then we came in and cooked it. So that was one opportunity, and there's some resources related to that on our toolkit. The other thing that we've done is in San Mateo and San Francisco counties through UC Cooperative Extension, they're currently hosting a youth video challenge where they're asking youth to take videos of themselves preparing an EatFresh.org recipe and talking through it. And I'm on the committee for selecting the winning videos. There's going to be a winner in English, in Spanish, and in Chinese, and the winning videos will go on the website. So those are just, again, 2 examples of how we've tried to connect EatFresh.org with youth and youth programming. And I think there are a lot of other possibilities as well. Lastly, I'm not sure about Catholic Charities of California's communications, but if you send out newsletters, emails, if you have social media that you're posting to, please promote eatfresh.org in those settings. That's a great way for people to learn about the site.
All right, thanks, Erin. So as Erin mentioned, we use print materials in a lot of different settings as a way to promote EatFresh and get people online. So some of you may have visited the toolkit. Again, the link is down in the chat window. But this is on the Leah's Pantry website, and it's a resource where you can download a variety of files. So as we said, distributing print materials is a good starting point for promoting eatfresh.org. While the main goal of EatFresh is to take advantage of the functionality and level of interactivity that websites can offer, we know that always having an internet connection is not realistic. So let me go to the website now for those of you who maybe didn't bring it up. I want to just point out a few areas. Okay, here we are on the Leah's Pantry EatFresh Toolkit page. So the most useful print materials, you'll have to scroll down to get to the print and web resources section. But the most useful print materials for nutrition educators are the recipe cards, messaging cards, and step-by-step user guides. So here we have the recipe postcards, messaging postcards, and how to use EatFresh would be our user guides. So when you click in here, it actually brings you to our Dropbox account. And all of these resources are sorted into different folders. So if I wanted to download a specific recipe, I would go into the size I was looking for, in the language that I was looking for, and then here we have all of the PDFs of the recipes that we've turned into recipe cards, and you can preview them before downloading as well. Um, so you can actually request copies of these cards from Erin or myself, but we offer the ability for anyone to print whenever they would like, as many as they would like, by downloading the files that we've already created. They're all print-ready files. You can also access logo files right here. And if there's any print materials that you have, we would love for you to add the logo file to your materials, just again to promote the site. You can download it in a variety of formats. If you are able to make edits on your own website, we have website badges that there's 2 different sizes, and we can always resize them for you, but all you would have to do is copy and paste this very simple HTML code, and you can insert it anywhere on your own website. The other folders have resources like directions for how to add eatfresh.org as a button on your smartphone, which is one of the guides that, again, I provided in the shared files for you all. And we also have our sign up for the eatfresh.org newsletter down here. This is the best way to stay up to date on the website and other projects that we're doing. So for anyone who's not signed up, you can do so right here. So now that we've introduced a lot of different strategies that you could potentially use, I'm going to post a poll. So if you could all take a moment to answer the survey, please do so now. So it says, how are you most likely to use EatFresh with your clients? And you can select multiple answers here. All right, it looks like a lot of you would distribute messaging or recipe cards. That's wonderful. It's a great starting point. And actually, all of the other ones are looking pretty good. Pretty good distribution across the group. It looks like all of these options would fit into your work in some way. That's wonderful. And actually, I can share the results with you guys right now. So looking pretty good. That's exciting for us. All right, I'm going to pass it back over to Erin to facilitate some Q&A.
We will now be taking questions from the group. So you can either type them into the chat box, or if you raise your hand, I can unmute you to ask a question. So either way. Also, if you have any comments about eatfresh.org and the things you've seen today, that's great as well. Okay, Victor. Oh, thank you. He says, EatFresh is awesome. I love the mini course component. I had already used the website a good bit, but wasn't aware of this opportunity. I'm so glad that you know about it now. And we are just beginning testing with adults in San Francisco and San Diego, and are really interested and excited to hear people's feedback about the courses themselves, about the login and questionnaire sign up process. So as you test it out yourself, tell your staff about it, share it with participants in your programming, please let us know how it goes. Angela asked, is the chat to answer nutrition questions available and managed too? Is that the Ask a Dietitian resources, Angela? Is that what you're asking about? Okay, so currently the Ask a Dietitian feature, we've only had questions submitted in English and have posted responses in English and haven't gone through and translated all of that text. So that is one section of the website that has mostly been used and accessed by English speakers. And I do think that if we ever worked with a dietitian who was Spanish speaking and felt comfortable answering questions in either language, that's something we would explore, but at this time is limited to English.
And I just want to add to that. We have received, I believe, 2 questions in Spanish in the past. And they were published on the website. And what we did is we sent them over to our translator. So they're available on the website in English and Spanish. However, as Erin said, right now we're not fully supporting Spanish or Chinese for that matter for Ask a Dietitian, just because of limitations for our translation at the moment.
And then Luz says, I am providing to our food distributing center a recipe of the month from your web, and they truly love it. I'm so glad. And yeah, let us know how we can support that. Victor says, I have used the Ask a Dietitian component a bit as well and received a great response about soy products. Oh, you're the soy question asker. I've read that one. I am wondering if my other 2 questions I've sent got lost somehow. Is that program still in development as well? So,
I can answer this one, actually.
Oh, you want to answer? Go for it, Jessica. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why I'm taking this question is because I manage the dietitians on there. So we have basically our RRDs that are on there, they're all SNAP-Ed trained and they have full-time jobs, and this is a volunteer opportunity for them on the site. So they have not gotten lost, but at times there tends to be more of a backlog of questions than others. So my guess is that they are currently being answered, but just haven't appeared on the site yet. So it does vary. I mean, our goal is to respond within a couple days, but for whatever reason, and sometimes I think it has to do with presentations that we give, there tends to be an influx in questions. So I will look for your questions, Victor, and make sure that our dietitian is aware that she needs to answer them. So thank you for letting me know about that.
Mm-hmm. And Luz asked, can we get the recipe cards from you? Are they free? Yes, you can order recipe cards from us. There's 2 ways to do that. One is to email Jessica or myself directly, and the other is to go onto the Leah's Pantry sf.org EatFresh Toolkit, and there's an order print materials section where you can fill out a form. Currently, we are not placing any new orders as we are figuring out our system for doing that in this fiscal year, but I have a large supply of recipe cards in our office in San Francisco that I can mail some portion of that to you. And it's always in my mind figuring out whenever someone asks for recipe cards, how many, in what languages, and figuring out the best recipes. So let's be in touch and we can sort through that. And we will be placing more orders for recipe cards for partners in the months ahead. So we're just in a pause right now determining the exact best way to do that in this fiscal year, but are continuing to take orders. And I could certainly send you some from amongst the thousands that are in our San Francisco office. And what Jessica just typed into the chat is the link to use to get to that order form online. And just a note about that, for recipe cards, my preference and what works best for us financially is for larger orders. So if you know that you want to be using eatfresh.org recipe cards programming over the next several months, and that you might reach 500 or 1,000 people in that time period, then placing an order for 500 of a recipe card costs basically the same amount as it does to order 100 of a recipe card. So we would prefer if you order larger quantities of a single card rather than ordering 100 of 10 different cards. So just keep that in mind when you order. And then
yeah, I can answer Dan's question.
Oh, great.
Okay. So Dan's question is, if the Catholic Charities agencies place a link to eatfresh.org on the website, is there a way for you to track the number of people who click on those links from each agency? So yes, there is. But with a caveat. So we won't know how many people clicked on that exact link on someone else's website, but we do see the pathway that people come into eatfresh.org. So for example, if someone was on the 211 San Diego website, clicked on a link to EatFresh from there and arrived on EatFresh, we see that. However, it will be up to the agency and their own analytics on their website to determine how many exactly are clicking on that button itself. So we can't look into other websites' analytics, but we can see how people are arriving onto EatFresh.
And I'm going to take Elisa's question. How many recipe cards and other materials can be provided by EatFresh free of cost to each agency that is interested? And what steps do my program managers need to take in order to request materials to be sent to their agency? Good question, Elisa. So Elisa and I chatted before the webinar, and because each county has diverse programming and varying numbers of participants, I think what makes the most sense is for each Catholic Charities of California in the 11 or so counties that you do work in, places an order with me rather than doing one central order for the whole state. And the best ways to do that are either email me, Erin@leahspantrysf.org, or through the online order form. I would really encourage you to think about, again, your use of recipe cards over the next 6 to 12 months and what you'll want and need and how you'll use them, rather than placing an order for 1 or 2 months at a time. If you'd like to just get a few and test it out and see how it goes first, that's great. And then again, you could think through what you'll need in the months ahead. And we currently don't have a limit on the number of cards someone can order. I, again, have really found in placing lots of orders for recipe cards that it often will cost about the same amount to send someone 1,000 cards when it's 10 cards that I'm sending as it does to send 4,000 or 5,000 cards if it's just 3 or 4 recipes. So keep that in mind when you're ordering. We are making internal decisions about how much we can afford for any partner and are more likely to say yes to more cards when it's these bigger bulk orders.
And Dan, thank you for your comment. It says the California Association of Food Banks has developed a series of easy recipes for produce distributed at California food banks and food pantries. You may want to add their recipes to your site. That is a wonderful suggestion. And should I be in touch with Cody Dunitz? I think that's my main contact at CAFB. Um, but yes, I will look into that. We welcome any partners who want to add recipes onto eatfresh.org. We do test them, and we may need to photograph them if they don't come with photos, and a few other things. So there's a bit of a, I guess, onboarding of recipes onto the site, so it takes a little time. But basically the only way we've been able to build such a large database on eatfresh.org is because of our partners. Oh, Cody's no longer with CFB. Okay, thank you, Dan. Yes, Stephanie Nisha, that would be great. So yes, again, if anyone knows of healthy recipes, or if there's specific produce that you're not seeing represented very well on the site, just let us know, and we would love to add more content to help make your job easier.
Great. Well, if anyone has a final question, this is a good time to ask it. As I'm thinking all of this through, I think what would be most helpful in terms of next steps around print materials is if county offices, again, want to think through what they'd like their order to be, and then either email me or through the online order form. And if you could just make it clear in the email, I'm with Catholic Charities in X county, so I know that that's where the order is coming from, and think internally amongst your office about all of the programming that you're doing and what it is that you might like, so that I can field just one request basically per county would be the easiest for me.
All right, well, if there are no further questions, then I think we'll wrap up. Thank you, everyone, for coming today and staying on the call. I'm impressed that everyone stayed on until the end. And I'm sure Erin and I will be in touch with you soon. And again, reach out if you have any questions. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.